Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Hope everyone is doing great today. I'm sorry I couldn't get here yesterday. Before we begin, I'd like to bring something up from my last video. I mentioned something about something that I was receiving about a person who was using Santeria to create spells against someone. I want everyone to understand Santeria within itself is not inherently bad. However, like voodoo, hoodoo, the African religion, the Afrocentric religions, or the other religions that are out there, are sometimes misused by the practitioners. And that's what I meant when I said somebody was using Santeria in a dark way. Doesn't mean Santeria is dark. It just means that the person who was inflicting the spell work was using the dark form of Santeria, okay, which works with the darker forces. Okay, so that being said, today's message is from Source, so let's begin. Source has been communicating to you, and unfortunately, you're missing it. Apparently, you're stuck in some type of despair or worry, which is preventing your connection or your answers from coming through clearly. Okay, so some of you out there are waiting for specific answers on something, and you're not receiving and wondering why. Okay, most of this has to do with your ability to trust in the divine timing and to trust in source's ability to bring you what you need in that divine timing. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. What source is asking of you is not to despair, but to believe with more trust. Okay, and that's not easy. That's easier said than done, because in today's world it's very hard to trust what we can't see and feel. But this is what it's about in spirituality. When we learn to trust, when we release things to something that's higher than ourselves, we are able to move forward. We are able to get our manifestations. Okay, we're able to get the answers that we seek. But if we allow our minds to be cluttered by judgment or people's misconceptions, it stifles that connection with the other side, which we all have an innate ability to do. Okay, so it's not that you're not being heard, you're just not trusting enough. You're not letting go. You want the result, but you're not willing to fully let yourself go for fear of disappointment. Now, that doesn't mean the minute that you release that doubt that everything is going to happen for you tomorrow, because that's not the way it works. Okay, this takes time. Okay, we have to move that energy, change that frequency by trusting, learning to trust. Okay, which is a very, very difficult process. Okay. Aside from that, I have some messages specifically for certain people. Let me just get my glasses. Don't get old because I can't see anymore. And it will read what I wrote down when I was channeling this morning to pass out to certain individuals who might need to hear it. Okay. There's someone who is about to undergo surgery and is worried. Do not worry. Everything is going to go well with the surgery. There's another person who is planning a road trip this week or this weekend coming. Please postpone the trip. Source is asking you to postpone the trip until next week. Okay. This is also will show a sign of faith on your behalf. Okay. By doing so, by following a directive from source. Okay. Doesn't mean you have to follow it, but there's a reason why this message is going out there to somebody. Uh, Let me see. There's another person who's listening right now who is expecting a decision on a home loan. The home loan will be coming through. Just hang in there. Okay. There's another about there's worry about an unborn child. Please don't worry. Source wants you to know everything is going to be okay. So those messages are specifically for individuals who might come across this message, and I hope that they are received by those individuals, and I hope that it helps them. Let me see what else it says here. I wrote a few more things down. Okay. The other thing Source wants us to understand is to be grateful for everything that we have, for things seen and unseen. Okay? That means not falling into society's tricks of wanting to have everything you see and then feeling that it doesn't measure up to someone else. Source wants everyone to understand those things aren't important, okay? Monetary things aren't important. Yes, we need money for survival in this world, unfortunately, but monetary gain for the sake of monetary gain isn't important, okay? The type of home you live in isn't important. The type of car you drive isn't important. The type of clothes you wear isn't important. And I have a feeling this message is coming through because there's many people out there listening that feel that this is their worth. And this is not your value, okay? Your value comes from within, okay? When you could raise that vibration within yourself and raise the light within yourself, you will attract things to you. But if you remain in this materialistic 3D version of yourself, you know, you can't expect much magic from the supernatural world if you're following the guidelines of the 3D matrix, okay? Which was designed to keep souls enslaved. And until everyone is able to understand that, they're going to be perpetually stuck in this situation, which is sad and unfortunate, okay? You have to remember, a lot of the times, the way this is devised, they denounce spirituality of any kind. Okay, the only spirituality that the false matrix agrees with are the churches. Okay, and many of the churches out there and religious leaders are working with the dark matrix, believe it or not, to keep people in prison in their own mind, to keep people believing that God is punishing them. Okay, that source is punishing them. Whoever you resonate with, but we're talking about the Most High right now, where this message is coming from. Okay, and that's the whole thing. We have to learn to open our eyes to the truth. And how do we do that? By clearing our thoughts, grounding ourselves, okay? Especially when the false matrix tries to introduce situations in our life that make us fear. Fear is the biggest motivator that keeps most people trapped. When we learn that fear is nothing but an illusion created by the false matrix, we are then able to move on. But if you let that fear grab a hold, it holds on and it holds on tight. And after that, the fear will introduce the doubt, okay? And then the voices that surround you many times, okay? All the answers that you need for yourself basically are within ourselves. We just have to learn how to find them, how to communicate with the divine, okay? We all have the ability. We've lost that ability. We were taught to lose that ability, okay? We were taught to make fun of things that we can't understand. And that's unfortunate, but it was a deliberate plan to keep people asleep. So Source wants you to know everything will go okay, but you have to, give a little initiative. Okay? If you want something to move forward, you have to do something to start moving forward. Show the universe that you're ready. Okay? If you want to have the answers and feel secure in the answers that you get, ground yourself, breathe. Check out some meditation classes. They have so many on YouTube that you can choose from. Whatever floats your boat. I mean, it's out there for you. There are books. There's YouTube videos. You just have to go out there and search. Okay, and don't listen to the voices around you, the naysayers who tell you now this is all bullshit. This doesn't exist. Trust me when I tell you this is true. But you have to believe. Okay, you have to know that Source wants to deliver everything for all our needs. But we have to trust again. We have to learn to trust. Source understands the difficulty with that. This is why he's creating so many of these YouTube videos out there. People like myself that are bringing messages to people to show people that, what, this is real. There's nothing fake about it. Okay. And even though we might not understand because we would, most of us, many of us in this world were taught to, mock this type of a format of communication with the divine. Okay. And many religions, especially the Christian religions, okay, they denounced this, okay, telling people that they're not allowed to communicate, okay, that there was something wrong with communicating, that communication comes from the devil. It most certainly does not. Because if that was true, then people like myself will be out there doing bad things all the time, okay? Be mindful of those that are around you. Those are the people that are unfortunately being used, especially those who are still asleep. Those are the ones being used that you have to worry about because the dark forces know that those who doubt and fear are easily manipulated, and then uses those same individuals, their vessel, to bring down others around them. That's why it's very important. Any question you have, bring it to whatever higher source you communicate with for the answer. Because when you start asking around, you're not always going to get the correct answer. Okay? And the answer you get might mislead you. So, with that in mind, I want to thank everyone for stopping by. And I want to say thank you again to all this small collective who happens to be here. I appreciate you. Uh, Hopefully, this channel will eventually grow as people start to understand what these messages are about. But God informs me that it will be taken care of in divine timing, and I will sit there and wait on that. And in the meantime, I am going to continue to do my part and move forward and bring these messages because I know there's someone out there that might need to hear them or will benefit from them. So again, I want to thank everyone for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.